In an increasingly interconnected world, the geopolitical landscape is constantly evolving, with nations vying for influence and control over critical technological and economic resources. Recent intelligence reports from the United States have highlighted a concerning trend. Both Russia and China are allegedly attempting to recruit disillusioned federal employees. This development raises significant questions about national security and the integrity of U.S. government operations. Sources suggest that the recruitment efforts target individuals who may be dissatisfied with their current roles within federal agencies. By leveraging this discontent, foreign powers aim to gain access to sensitive information that could compromise U.S. interests. The implications of such recruitment tactics are profound, as they not only threaten the security of classified information but also undermine the trust and morale of government employees. A source familiar with the situation stated, "The targeting of disgruntled employees is a strategic move that could yield significant intelligence gains for adversaries." Meanwhile, China's approach to safeguarding its technological advancements has also come under scrutiny. The Chinese government has reportedly advised its top artificial intelligence leaders to avoid travel to the United States due to rising security concerns. This decision reflects a growing apprehension regarding espionage and the potential for intellectual property theft as tensions between the two nations continue to escalate. As the Wall Street Journal noted, this cautionary measure underscores the fragile state of U.S.-China relations, particularly in the tech sector. In a parallel context, Chinese ambassador to the United States Xie Feng recently emphasized the necessity for peaceful coexistence between the two nations. Speaking at the Duke UNC China Leadership Summit, he urged the U.S. to adhere to the One China principle and manage the Taiwan issue with care. Trying to contain China with Taiwan would only invite trouble for oneself, Ambassador Xie remarked, highlighting the delicate balance that must be maintained to avoid further conflict. His comments came on the heels of a conversation between President Xi Jinping and former President Donald Trump, during which both leaders reportedly reached critical common understandings aimed at stabilizing bilateral relations. However, the geopolitical tensions have not been limited to diplomatic discourse. On the economic front, Trump's recent announcement of an additional 10% tariff on Chinese imports has triggered a global market sell-off, exacerbating anxiety among investors. The S&P 500 index experienced a significant dip, erasing its gains for the year as Asian markets followed suit with steep declines. Deborah Elms, head of trade policy at the Heinrich Foundation, remarked, "The speed of these tariffs leaves little room for Chinese firms to adjust, creating a precarious situation for manufacturers. The cascading effects of this tariff strategy have raised alarm bells not only in China but across the global economy. The unfolding situation poses a complex challenge for both nations. As the U.S. grapples with internal dissent and external pressures, China's leadership prepares for its annual legislative sessions, where it will outline its economic strategies in response to these tariff threats. The expectation is that China will focus on opening its economy rather than resorting to aggressive retaliation, a sentiment echoed by economists who believe that a measured response is more beneficial in the long run." As the world watches these developments with bated breath, the intersections of technology, diplomacy, and economics remain at the forefront of international discourse. The coming weeks and months will be critical as both nations navigate their respective challenges, and the outcomes could have far-reaching implications for global stability and cooperation. The fragile equilibrium of U.S.-China relations will test the resilience of both countries as they seek to assert their influence on the world stage while managing the complexities of their intertwined destinies. In an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape, recent developments highlight the ongoing tensions between major global powers. A concerning trend has emerged, as U.S. intelligence reports indicate that both Russia and China are actively seeking to recruit disgruntled federal employees. This revelation underscores the vulnerabilities within the U.S. government and raises alarms about national security. Sources familiar with the situation suggest that these efforts are part of broader strategies by both nations to undermine U.S. interests and influence. The implications of such recruitment attempts are profound. Disgruntled federal employees may possess sensitive information and insights into the workings of the U.S. government, making them attractive targets for foreign adversaries. Experts warn that these recruitment efforts could lead to the leakage of classified information, potentially compromising national security and operational integrity. Indeed, the consequences of successful recruitment could be far-reaching, impacting everything from intelligence operations to defense strategies. In contrast, China is focusing its internal dynamics on reinforcing its regime's stability. Chinese President Xi Jinping has recently emphasized the need for heightened national security measures, reiterating that safeguarding the political system is paramount. During a Politburo meeting, she called for the advancement of the Peaceful China Initiative, a framework introduced in 2013 aimed at promoting holistic national security across political, economic, cultural, social, technological, and military domains. Xi's insistence on strengthening this initiative amidst changing global circumstances highlights the Chinese government's determination to maintain control and stability in an evolving geopolitical environment. Moreover, the internal purges within China's military have drawn attention. As Xi's administration ramps up anti-corruption efforts, the military delegation at the National People's Congress (NPC) is shrinking significantly. This year's military representation has decreased from 281 to 267, with corruption investigations claiming several high-profile officials. Analysts note that while the reduced military presence may not directly impact the NPC's functionality, it illustrates Xi's ongoing efforts to consolidate control over the armed forces, particularly as tensions escalate around Taiwan and the South China Sea. In the realm of technology and national security, a notable case recently emerged in the United States involving David C. Bomerwald, the owner of a North Carolina-based company. Bomerwald pleaded guilty to attempting to sell electronic devices with military applications to a Chinese firm without the necessary U.S. government license. This incident highlights the ongoing challenges faced by U.S. authorities in curbing illegal technology exports to adversarial nations. The accelerometers in question, which are critical for military and aerospace applications, underscore the dual-use nature of many technologies, complicating regulatory efforts. As these multifaceted dynamics unfold, it is clear that the interplay between national security, espionage, and technological competition will continue to shape the global landscape. The actions taken by both the US and China, as well as the reactions of other nations, will be pivotal in determining the future of international relations. Observers are left to wonder how these developments will influence not only military strategies but also economic and diplomatic engagements in the years to come. As countries navigate this treacherous terrain, the importance of vigilance and strategic foresight has never been more pronounced. In recent years, the global economic landscape has been marked by uncertainty and shifting consumer preferences, yet some sectors continue to thrive amid broader market challenges. One notable example is the blueberry market in China, where consumer enthusiasm for this nutrient-rich fruit has soared, even as overall consumer sentiment remains lukewarm. The rise of blueberries as a popular choice among Chinese consumers signifies a deeper trend towards the appreciation of premium products, particularly among the middle class. Despite not being a traditional blueberry-growing nation, China has surpassed the United States to become the world's largest producer of blueberries, with cultivation now present in 26 of the country's 34 provinces, according to data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture (USDA). The domestic demand for blueberries has skyrocketed, increasing by approximately 200% over the past 5 years, as reported by GN Consulting. This growth is paralleled by a 94.3% increase in blueberry imports from 2019 to 2022, highlighting the fruit's rising status among health-conscious consumers. Stone Wang, executive chairman of U.S.-based berry company AgriVision, noted that even in a climate of economic caution, middle-class consumers in China have shown a willingness to indulge in premium fruits like blueberries. Especially in the context of consumption downgrading, middle-class consumers are more inclined to seek a sense of ritual and satisfaction through premium fruits, Wang explained. The typical price range for blueberries between a dozen to several dozen yuan, approximately $1.65 to $4.94 per box, suggests that these consumers are less sensitive to price fluctuations when it comes to their fruit choices. This phenomenon is indicative of a broader trend in consumer behavior where smaller satisfying purchases provide a sense of luxury and ritual even as consumers cut back on bigger expenditures such as luxury goods and automobiles. The blueberry market is not merely a reflection of changing tastes but also an insight into the evolving dynamics of consumer sentiment in China. As China continues to grapple with various economic challenges, including a shifting global landscape and domestic constraints, the blueberry sector offers a glimpse into resilience and adaptation. While the overall economic outlook may appear cautious, the success of premium products illustrates the nuanced preferences of consumers who are increasingly willing to invest in quality even in difficult times. Looking forward, the blueberry trend may well serve as a bellwether for future consumer behavior in China. With a growing middle class that values quality and health, there is potential for continued growth not only in the blueberry sector but also in other premium food categories. As the Chinese economy continues to navigate its complexities, the blueberry boom underscores the importance of understanding consumer psychology and the evolving landscape of preferences that can drive market success. In conclusion, while China's economic sentiment may face headwinds, the enthusiasm for blueberries reveals a vital segment of the market that is thriving, suggesting that amidst uncertainty, opportunities for growth still exist in niche areas. As consumers seek fulfillment through quality products, the blueberry trend may pave the way for more premium offerings in the future, reflecting a broader shift towards health-conscious consumption. In a significant move that underscores the increasing control over military information in China, the government has instituted sweeping new regulations aimed at restricting the dissemination of online content about its armed forces. Announced recently and set to take effect on March 1, these regulations come amid China's ambitious efforts to modernize its military, the People's Liberation Army (PLA), and bolster national security in a climate of escalating geopolitical tensions. The new rules are particularly alarming for military enthusiasts and analysts who have relied on open-source intelligence from Chinese military bloggers and commentators. These individuals have historically provided critical insights into the PLA's advancements, including details on new weaponry, personnel changes, and troop movements. However, under the new regulations, the production, dissemination, and even the sharing of any military secrets or undisclosed information related to national defense technology will be strictly prohibited. This includes sensitive topics such as weapons development, military exercises, and the organizational structures of military units that have not been publicly acknowledged. Joseph Wen, an independent analyst based in Taipei, noted that the Chinese Communist Party has historically maintained a high level of opacity regarding military matters. As a regime that values both secrecy and propaganda, Chinese authorities have long taken a wink-and-nod approach toward the dissemination of information related to the PLA within domestic online communities, he explained. The new regulations, however, indicate a shift towards more rigid enforcement of these boundaries. Issued jointly by 10 government and Communist Party departments, including the top internet regulator and military command bodies, these regulations target both individual users and online military information service providers. The comprehensive nature of the rules suggests that Beijing is keen to tighten its grip on the narrative surrounding its military capabilities, particularly in light of the growing scrutiny from foreign observers. The repercussions of these regulations are already being felt. David Bandersky, executive director of the China Media Project, highlighted that while military-related content has enjoyed significant popularity among Chinese internet users, the new rules aim to prevent sensitive information from undermining the official narrative of China's military development. This tightening of control is expected to stifle the free flow of military information within China, making it increasingly difficult for analysts and the public to gauge the true state of the PLA. In addition to the clampdown on military information, analysts have noted that this move could also be a response to the expanding community of online open-source intelligence that has emerged in recent years. James Char, a PLA expert, remarked that the new rules effectively institutionalize existing prohibitions and may deter individuals from sharing information about troop movements or military exercises without official approval. As China continues to enhance its military capabilities, recent developments have raised concerns beyond its borders. Huang Sungting, a defense analyst, pointed out that China's military buildup poses a serious threat to Taiwan's energy security, particularly regarding liquefied natural gas (LNG) supplies. The strategic positioning of the PLA, often with Russian support, has raised alarms about potential disruptions to Taiwan's energy lines, which could be targeted to diminish Taiwanese morale in the event of conflict. The situation is further complicated by military exercises involving the U.S. and allied nations, indicating a collective awareness of the threats posed by China's aggressive posture in the region. Huang emphasized the need for Taiwan to enhance its defense strategies and intelligence sharing with allies like the United States and Japan to counter these emerging threats effectively. As the situation evolves, the implications of these tightened regulations and the continuous military buildup will undoubtedly play a significant role in shaping the future of regional security dynamics. The international community will be closely watching how these developments unfold, particularly in relation to Taiwan and the broader geopolitical landscape in East Asia. As the world grapples with increasing geopolitical tensions, China has positioned itself as a proactive player in global diplomacy, aiming to inject certainty and positive energy into a turbulent international landscape. This strategic pivot comes at a time when the U.S. is engaged in its own political complexities, particularly with the anticipated second term of President Donald Trump, who has shown a consistent focus on countering China's rise. In the lead-up to China's annual legislative sessions, commonly referred to as the Two Sessions, the leadership reflects on significant advancements made over the past 5 years, particularly in technology and international relations. A recent analysis by the South China Morning Post highlights how China has successfully narrowed the technological gap with the U.S. since the initiation of its Made in China 2025 initiative, which aimed at achieving self-reliance and bolstering its technological capabilities. The report underscores the impact of U.S. policies on China's trajectory. Despite sanctions and restrictions targeting China's science and technology sectors, Beijing has managed to maintain a trajectory of growth and innovation. This resilience is evident in the strategic responses to U.S. actions, including military maneuvers and diplomatic overtures designed to assert its position on the global stage. As noted in the analysis, the U.S. has imposed unprecedented sanctions and restrictions on China, particularly its science and technology sectors, yet China continues to adapt and evolve, effectively countering the intended effects of these measures. Simultaneously, the Chinese military has engaged in what experts are calling gunboat diplomacy, as evidenced by recent unannounced live-fire drills in the vicinity of Taiwan and in waters between Australia and New Zealand. These exercises serve not only to showcase military capabilities but also to send political signals to the United States and its allies. As Lin Yingyu, an assistant professor at Tamkon University, pointed out, such maneuvers are a response to increased military cooperation between the U.S. and Taiwan, as well as joint naval drills involving U.S. allies in the region. Scholars have observed that these military exercises reflect a shift in China's strategic posture, aiming to project strength and deter any potential intervention from the U.S. in Taiwan-related affairs. Su Tsuyun, a defense strategy expert, emphasized that as China's naval capabilities continue to mature, it is increasingly adopting tactics that mirror those traditionally employed by U.S. forces during periods of heightened tensions. This approach includes conducting drills that assert China's rights in international waters without prior notification, a tactic that has raised concerns about maritime safety and international navigation. Looking ahead, the implications of these developments are significant. As China prepares to unveil its policies during the Two Sessions, it is likely to continue leveraging its technological advancements and military capabilities to enhance its standing in a competitive global environment. The ongoing power dynamics, particularly in relation to the U.S., suggest that future diplomatic and military engagements will be characterized by a cautious yet assertive approach from Beijing. In conclusion, China's evolving diplomatic and military strategies indicate a willingness to embrace a more assertive role on the world stage, positioning itself as a counterbalance to U.S. influence. As both nations navigate their complex relationship, the coming months will be critical in shaping the geopolitical landscape, with the potential for both cooperation and conflict. The world watches closely, as the outcomes of these developments will undoubtedly influence the international order for years to come.